Hey, I'm Paul with Beat Pro, and welcome to Campaign Spelunking. In this episode, we're going to go ahead and look at two different automation workflows that do similar kinds of things. It's really neat to see these similar kind of structures. And before we hop into it, spelunking is usually for caves and diving and hard hats and things like that. Well, we're going to do the same thing just digitally. We're going to look at a bunch of automation workflows and kind of look and see what we can see. And today, I'm wearing a Thra shirt. Big shout out to Thra, some rad Doom metal out there in Phoenix. Shout out to Throb. Let's go ahead and have some fun here. So we're going to be looking at these two caves today. So let's first look at this one here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Actually, this is cool. So we're seeing the old traffic sources we used to have. So the general idea is it looks like this introductory package was going to be like a big, the main thing. But there's a little thing over here. Let's see what this is doing. So this is a similar kind of thing where people can request more information. We give them some more info, and then the call to action is, yeah, go get this introductory package. Now what's neat, this is click-based follow-up here, and we see this a lot. So the idea is if somebody goes and wants more information, let's see, is there anything modeled out here? No, there isn't. However, you can send them follow-up emails with the information until they click to where you want them to click, basically. And that's what this link click goal here is doing. So it's here's more info, and then if they click to get it and they don't end up requesting this info, then they would go into this hot intro request, which, okay, cool. So this is creating a task to follow up with the person, then sending an email, making sure they're okay. Now in real life, you probably want to have some kind of a timer here just to give them time to click and request the information, learn more about it. We see the same type of behavior later in this little model as well, because same thing, request this package. At the end of the rainbow, basically they're selling this Starbiz thing, and there's some kind of license that needs to be collected. So basically when people buy, whether they're in this cave or not, then there'd be some follow-up. Likely there'd probably also be a task like we saw earlier to say, hey, go ahead and get their license, and then apply this note template. That's what this is, that hey, it's a big red automation button. Do this. We've gotten what we need, and then this probably is, yeah, just some ideas and some concepts here. But we see this same idea of if they get the intro package, we send them some info. Obviously, we'd send them some follow-up emails in real life, but if they click to that order page and they don't buy it, then same kind of thing, we'd follow up with them. So this is really interesting. We're kind of doing it's the same structure twice, just depending on how aware they are of the thing. They can request more info, and then they're a little more aware, and then they can get this introductory package, and then they're more aware here, and then they can learn about this thing. So this is a really interesting cave, not necessarily super complex, just very effective though. This idea of following up with people whether they click or not, and pushing them ahead is a really neat idea, and it works really well. So we're going to see this same structure in the other cave over here. So now what's neat about this is there's actually two major structures that showed up in here. There's this top part, and then there's this bottom part here. And if we look at the name of the things, there's this MSNBA thing, and then open enrollment. So what it looks like we're doing here is we're doing something similar, giving them some information about it, except this is going to be an internal form. So somebody inside the business or inside the team is going to say, hey, this person wants it, and it's going to say, okay, go ahead and complete this questionnaire. I guess a pre-qualifying questionnaire, but it's the same kind of redemption mechanism that we saw, where if they click to this form or landing page or whatever and they don't complete it, then we can follow up with them. Let's see, do we model anything in this? again, just a task to follow up. And again, in real life, you'd probably want to put some type of a timer here and wait to see if they actually do end up completing it or not. Did we have anything in here? Again, just modeling these out. If you recall from the first episode of Campaign Spelunking, this was just used for high level planning and strategizing, because this tool wasn't even necessarily in the people's accounts yet. We were just learning how to use it as coaches ourselves. So as we get into deeper caves and more episodes, we're going to see real live campaigns that had stuff going through it. So let's assume that someone's pre-qualified here. Well, I guess at the end of the rainbow, it seems like, and here's these note templates that we were running into before, that big red automation button says, hey, they're qualified or not. And then I guess some follow-up if they're not. And then if they are pre-qualified, so the idea would be, if they're qualified, then there'd be some kind of scheduling for the call. Now, again, this is very interesting because this qualification process, I guess it would work like this too, where there's probably, yeah, just a task to fill out this form and either say they're qualified or not. So rather than, I guess a note template would work here. You could also maybe have a radio button on this form that says they're qualified or not. But this form is exclusively for scheduling a pre-qualifying call. So if anything, the note templates is probably the best way to do it, because at any point in time, someone can be pre-qualified or not. And this is something we haven't necessarily seen, at least that I can recall, in some previous episodes, the idea of dynamic call reminders around an appointment date, which is really cool. And that would usually be done with some kind of a field timer. So based on the field on the person's record, we're going to send them some follow-up stuff. Okay, so there's this funnel idea where we have this click-based follow-up, and then if they're qualified or not, they can schedule a call, be pre-qualified. So that leads us into the second structure that we saw, and likely this would be 2 campaigns in real life, maybe even some more. There's this open enrollment thing. So we see that similar mechanism here where when enrollment is open, we can send them information to register for the program. This is going to be some internal form. Again, they can click to register. If they don't, we follow up with them, and that's that. And what's interesting is, in theory, you could get rid of this connection and it would still function correctly, because this goes further upstream, and as long as it would be connected, this is actually redundant, at least looking at a keep automation model here. And then they register for the program, and okay, so just looking at the name reverse scheduled a year out, and then it's applying some kind of a tag. I'm guessing that would probably be some other type of campaign that controls the, hey, classes are coming, and then somewhere they get tagged that they attend the program. At least that's what this is. And oh, this is interesting. This is cool. So there's the tag here, and then there's the note template that applies the tag. Why do this? Well, it's the difference between doing it in bulk and doing it manually. So if you've got a list of students, it might be easy to just note. But if there's a lot of folks, you may just want to tag them all in bulk and go this way. So the question then, as like, in a reporting standpoint, is what's the actual source of truth? Well, because the tag is being applied from the note, and the tag may be applied in other ways, this should be the official number of people that had it. And then internal enrollment process. So this is interesting. There's this little pocket just floating by itself, and interesting. I'm wondering if this is, the idea was at any point in time they can just dump people into this if they need it. Maybe it was like a service type sequence. But anyway, that's what we got here. So again, this click-based follow-up, we're probably going to see this a lot in more episodes. there's the idea of somebody requests something, we deliver it, and we're gonna track to see if they're actually not only downloading it but clicking to see what's going on. So that's it for today. Let me know what you thought, and if you're gonna do anything, you might as well be pro.